Hello, everybody. Welcome to Step Into Your Power Online Expo. It's all about showcasing some wonderful vendors, health practitioners, healers that are available all over the world. And today we have with us Deanne Garven, and she is a healer and she offers a lot of wonderful services. She was first introduced or interested in energy healing back in college with a classmate in 1987. She started studying Reiki in 2002, and through the years she has continued with all levels as well as her natural healing techniques and sound vibration therapy. She's the owner of Pure Harmony Natural Healing, and I've had the pleasure of having a few sessions done with Deanne, and they're amazing sessions. So I know she offers Reiki, natural healing techniques, sound therapy with tuning forks. That's an incredible session. And she also does chakra and meridian balancing. Yeah, so she does a lot of different things, and I'm so happy and honored that she agreed to be part of this online expo. And yeah, so yeah, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am a mother, married, and a mother of three. I started studying energy healing mainly through Reiki, Reiki with Norma Langadal here in Saskatchewan. I really was drawn to that early on. Absolutely fell in love with that energy modality, but I found my kids were still young, so I had to put that on the back burner until they were a little older, and then I could really dive into the energy medicine that I really enjoy, which is Reiki, natural healing techniques, and sound therapy. The sound therapy that I work with is it's called biofield tuning, and I was actually, that fell on my lap, that one there. My husband gave me a set of tuning forks several Christmases back. I want to say 2015, maybe 2014. And I did not see it coming. I was ready to learn another modality at that time. I just wasn't sure what it was going to be. And as soon as I opened that gift, I was just blown away. And I had said to him, I said, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with these, but I will research and I will discover and I will learn and I will definitely take it up. And with that, I did a lot of researching. And I was really drawn to Eileen McCusick, out of the States, who teaches biofield anatomy or biofield tuning. And I just incorporate the sound healing modality with all of my other energy modalities that I offer. So the Reiki is hands-on or just above, and it really helps to just allow our own systems and our own bodies to just really do what it's supposed to do. Our bodies are so intelligent, and they have an innate wisdom to want to heal on their own anyway. And Reiki is just a loving energy that I like to always describe it as restful healing, because it just feels
so amazing.
It's just
that's amazing. That's perfect how to say it. That's an amazing modality. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Can you share with the audience, just before you get into all the stuff that you do, because I know you do a lot of stuff, but we really want to know, how did it all begin for you? When was your, how did you get introduced into energy healing? Kind of let the viewers know, where did you start? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first time I was ever introduced to energy healing, I was going to college in Montreal, and a classmate of mine back in 1987, was studying on the side, which I had no idea she had been doing this. She was studying therapeutic touch. And therapeutic touch, I'm not completely familiar with, but it's very similar to Reiki. And so she had asked me, can I practice on you? And I said, sure. And I have to say, I was really blown away at the time, right? Like I thought, this is different. I actually can feel some heat coming from her hands and whatnot. And it felt really good. And she was a really beautiful, beautiful person, like a loving heart. And it just, that was my introduction. And oddly enough, you know, I was in my late teens going to school there. And that was, I had never really come across like they were called new age shops back then. So they would be like your metaphysical shops, right? And I was always drawn to those. So I remember going in there and I picked up a book called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And that, I was really drawn to the book, but here's a strange story about that. Yes, and that's I Can Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. I have that one as well. I had that book in my possession for many years. I didn't actually start reading it till I was in my 30s. But I bought it in my, you know, when I was 18 or 19 years old. And I kept it. And I understood as soon as I picked that book up to begin reading, I had already had my kids at that point. I realized, it dawned on me, if I would have started reading that book when I first purchased it, none of it would have resonated with me. I had to have the experiences I had to actually have some benefits from it. And I really resonated with her, with Louise Hay's way of thinking about life and energy and whatnot. So I actually love that book. But yeah, so that's where I started. So when my kids were younger, my youngest was, how old was she? 6 years old. And that's when I first started learning Reiki. I had a friend here in town that had her second level, and she asked me if she could practice on me. That was the first time I was ever introduced to Reiki. And I said, sure. And I absolutely fell in love with that energy. And then I asked her who she learned from, and Norma Langadol was living in Weyburn at the time. And that's who I started my learning of Reiki from. I learned my first 2 levels of Reiki from her, and then she and her husband had moved away, and I lost contact with her. And when I was ready to learn my third, I had to go on Facebook and try and find her, and sure enough, I did. They live in they live by Saskatchewan in Warman, and I traveled up there to get my third and my master's from Norma. She has such beautiful energy, and I was really drawn to her. And in the meantime, I had actually gone to another Reiki teacher in Regina, a lovely woman, but it just confirmed to me how much I appreciated Norma's teaching techniques and how she
I agree.
actually.
Norma is, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. Norma is amazing. Yeah, I just love her
yeah,
energy. I just connect with her so much.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's a
so yeah,
beautiful
that's
person.
amazing. It's
Yeah, and
amazing
then,
how we get guided. Yeah. Can you
yeah.
tell the audience, can you let our viewers know, can you tell us a time when that aha moment, is there something that really got you on this path? You talk about being introduced to all these different people, they're having these sessions, but there's something that aha moment where you had this experience where, you know, I need to do this, because you work full time, you have a
Yeah.
family, you raise
Mm-hmm.
kids. And where's that aha moment that really was that turning, that pivotal time? I can't even say the word, but when you change and you knew, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to help people with.
I think it was when I first took the I was a model for my girlfriend who had her second level, and I took that first I took had an appointment with her, a treatment with her, and then I had gone and took my first level. But that being said, I have to tell you, all of my life I have felt drawn to natural stuff, like natural herbs, natural energy, always more. would prefer being out in nature, listening to the birds, never wanted a lot of loud stuff around me, where I really was always comfortable in my own skin and just in my own space where it was quiet. And it's funny because when I met my husband, we had been dating maybe a couple of weeks, and we had just come from the pub, and I was the driver, so I hadn't had anything to drink. He had a couple of drinks, and I had told him when we pulled into his driveway, I said, there's something you have to understand about me. I said, my spirituality is my utmost, most important thing in my entire life. So I will always go wherever it brings me, wherever it shows me to go. And you need to be aware of that. And he was speechless. He had no idea that that's what I was going to talk. I wasn't talking about religion. I was talking about my spirit. And yeah, I had some pretty profound experiences when I was maybe 17. And it lasted it was one of those blissful, wonderful connections with Source. And it lasted for 7 days. And I was literally walking on cloud 9 for 7 days, absolutely had no fear whatsoever in life or in death. And that really helped to push my faith along.
That's
with
amazing.
Spirit and Source and energy. And I always have, well, not always, but as I evolve with my modalities, because once you give a healing, you receive a healing. And so as I'm healing and growing as a person, I truly, truly do believe that everything is connected on this earth. I mean, you know, you've always heard mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and soul. And I truly understand that, but it's not just, doesn't stop there. We're all connected. Everything is connected on this planet and in our universe. And I truly, truly do believe that, because we're all energy.
I agree with you 100%. That's exactly so true. And I believe that, you know, we have these moments in time where we get connected to our spirit and that higher power that guides us and supports us and gets us on this path, which is amazing. So with that being said, why do you want to help others so much? Like, why are you on this mission to help other people? Can you let the viewers know why you're on this path of learning?
Yeah.
Path of healing and wanting to help mankind or womankind to heal their mind, their body, and their spirit.
I really feel it's everybody's job to help in any way that we can, because we are all connected. But I am learning as I grow that we're all source and we're all love. And the whole reason I do this is because first, it brings me so much joy to be able to help somebody. And there's a connection there when you have a client and they've responded so positively to their treatments, and you know that you had a connection with them where they're actually feeling that same connection, that oneness almost. There's nothing that feels better than that. You know, it truly is. I really feel it's my calling to be in energy medicine and help people, because I do try and approach every single treatment through love. Right? Like
I love that.
That's the highest frequency we can ever match. So it's important, right? And that's a learning curve for me too, you know?
I know, you're giving me goosebumps. You're giving me goosebumps. That's exactly when we're in that love vibration, we can move mountains, literally. So
absolutely. That is the highest, most powerful frequency a person can ever feel.
Exactly.
And yeah, I agree.
I love about your tuning forks that you're able to reach that vibration. Can you let the viewers know, is there one particular story that you want to share with the client that really validated that connection with love, and that connection of, you know, that there's this one turning story with a client that really validated what you're doing is actually providing miracles all the time.
Well, yeah, when
right?
a person, exactly. So when I feel, I have several stories where I've had clients on my table when I'm using the tuning forks. And so I incorporate my muscle treatment sometimes with that. And I always finish with Reiki over the heart of my clients. But I mainly use the tuning forks now because I find them to be extremely effective. So I have had clients on my table where, well, maybe I'll give you a little background on how it works, first of all. So I'm using different frequencies over, I test the energy centers or the chakras of my clients, and I use a pendulum to do that because it's very effective and it saves me time. And it will tell me, just like in a Reiki session, Reiki will go to what is needed the most. So a client may come to me thinking they need something worked on one part of their body, but I trust my pendulum and it will tell me which energy center I need to work over. Not necessarily over, I test which one, and then I test which side of the bodies I should work on. And I only work off one side of the body at a time. And then once it tells me which center to work on or which chakra, I actually locate with my tuning forks. I step out and I locate the edge of their present life energy field. And that can be anywhere from 5 to 6 feet. And once I do that, it's all timeline. So say the client's 60 on the, like when they come for their treatment. So I know to move in and halfway will be 30 and whatnot, right? So it's all timeline. And what I'm doing with my client is I'm actually listening, and I'm continually hitting my tuning forks, listening for any vibrational imbalance in their energy field. And as I do that, my clients can feel certain things. Their job is to really just pay attention to their body. I don't want them thinking too much. I don't, just really be sensitive to what's going on with your body. And I will ask them from time to time, are you noticing anything with your body at this point? Especially when I come up to a really thick vibrational imbalance. And I can tell them around what age I'm at and what kind of feelings I'm feeling, because I'm in their energy field, so I can pick up on certain feelings, sadness, anxiety, fear, whatnot. But the tuning forks pick up on that. The tuning forks have overtones and undertones, and they vibrate differently in my hands. Now, I'm not as good with the overtones and undertones. I'm more with, I can feel more what's coming, the information that's coming through the tuning forks, and I can feel it more, and I relay that to my clients. So one of the examples I had is I had a client, a few years back now. I was going through her, I was in her early 20s. It was really, really thick. Really, really hard time. And I mean, it was rough all along up until that point. But at that point, she mentioned to me how her one arm was very sore. And that's a vibrational imbalance. So these vibrational imbalances will actually, it's an imbalance in that time frame of their life. So that a vibrational imbalance can be a move. It could be a physical, emotional, or a mental stress that they experienced, right? And all the client needs to do, what I like to tell my clients is don't think too much about it. The first thought that comes to mind regarding that time frame is if it's a person or an event, that's probably what it pertains to, but you don't have to spend a lot of time on it to figure it out in order for it to heal. Anyways, I had come up to this around 21 and her arm was very sore. And so I'm staying with that imbalance with my tuning forks, continually striking my tuning fork for her body to listen to that resonance out in her energy field And as Eileen McCusick likes to say, is auto-correct it or reset it to our factory setting, right? And it will do that. Sometimes it takes, minutes, sometimes it takes seconds. It just depends on the body. And at this point, she wanted me to stop because it was too painful. And she did confess to me that it was a very, very, very traumatic time at that age, and because she had been raped, and the rapist had actually held her down by that arm, and that's where this pain was coming from. After I got her to calm down, got her a glass of water, we did some breathing techniques. I most definitely would never let her leave in that condition. I would ask her to let me finish, because that's what we need to do. She allowed me to finish, and she had an epiphany when I got to her chakra. And it was more, she saw the whole pattern in her entire life, because she had been abused as a child, and it just continued on, right? And then as an adult, self-abuse and whatnot. And she was able to see things so objectively. And when I get to their chakra, I'm basically dropping all of that garbage, all of those vibrational imbalances in their energy field, and our body knows what to do with it. People can go through a detox, that's for sure. But, the detox may last 48 hours, but then after that, they have the most wonderful light feelings, like weight has been lifted off their hearts and their shoulders, and they completely do feel like they've healed. I've helped people with physical issues, emotional issues, people with sciatic nerve, people with rheumatoid arthritis. I have gotten rid of people that have suffered and say they've had an abortion in their past, and for whatever reasons, and that's hangs on them, and they've been able to heal from things like that, right? It's just really, we're still learning more and more how it works. And but it's a very, to me, you can have a pretty traumatic response on the table or afterwards, but it's still a very beautiful and subtle way of actually healing the body, because you're working with frequency, right? It's all vibration. Yeah,
I love that.
And everything, like we said earlier, is frequency and vibration. And
exactly. That's amazing. It's a very story.
It is. It's pardon? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just an amazing story that you're sharing with the viewers. It gives a good example of the work that you're able to do. And we are learning, but these are natural techniques that have been on Mother Earth for millions and millions of years.
Yeah.
And we are now remembering, these techniques. And do you think, or do you believe that there's this higher power, like what's guiding you to do this healing work? Because when I'm working with clients, I always tell them, I always tell them, it's not me, it's I'm the vessel.
Yeah, no, I truly do believe it's a higher power. I always ask before, like I have my own little ritual before each client where I do a meditation and whatnot. And then I always ask for my own personal ego to be put aside, because I don't want my own personal energies to interfere. And I want it to be able to, I'm like a conduit. I just want to be able to do what I'm supposed to do from a place of highest good and love, right? And I find I do need to have my own personal energies put aside, right? I always call on the archangels to help. I always call on my client spiritual healing team, because I believe we all have one. And then I just trust, and that's huge. You have to, trust is such a huge part of it. Even with the client, like, quite often I'll have clients where sometimes it's their last resort, right? Like they've tried every other thing and they're like, okay, through Western medicine or whatnot, and they haven't had any success, so they'll try this, and they're sometimes quite blown away. Sometimes it's moving a little too slow. But they have to also believe that they can be healed. And I say that because if they don't, our energies and our thought energy carries so much energy that they've just wasted their money in a sense, because they'll leave their treatment, and if they're focusing on not healing and bringing their vibration down, their frequency down, that's exactly what they're going to attract. It's the law of attraction, right? I mean, it's the way the whole universe works. And our thoughts carry so much energy.
That's so true. And everything that we do, our thoughts are so powerful.
Oh, very much so.
Definitely. I love how you explain that. And, you know, with the times the way they are now, and, you know, can you let the viewers know what services you provide online so people can get a hold of you after this interview? Is there something that you offer?
I offer online? Everything that I do. With biofield tuning, I can do it. It's only through audio. It's not through visual, because we just want them focusing on the frequencies. But even if they're not comfortable doing that, I can offer any treatment that I like, Reiki, natural healing technique, or biofield tuning, where we set up an appointment, and I know where they can sit or quietly or lay down quietly. I tell them the time I'm going to be performing the treatment, and then I let them know afterwards exactly what came up, and see if any of it resonated with them and how do they feel. And yeah, and so because of the way things are now, I do offer biofield tuning online. I offer all of it. Distant healing that I offer it can be done distantly. So because it's energy, it's so wonderful that things like that can happen, you know. And so I offer all three of my modalities through distant healing.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're all connected. We're all energy. And so, you know, really the energy comes from a higher power. So just like a satellite, you don't have to be in the same room. You still get that connection with the satellite. So
that's right.
You know, I always use that analogy with people. You don't have to be right in front of me. I'm not doing the healing. I'm just a vessel, and that higher power can still work through me, whether you're in the room with me or if you're millions and millions of miles away, that energy still works. So can you tell people how they can get a hold of you? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? How can people
I don't have a website.
Hold of you,
sure, they can get a hold of me on my Facebook page, Pure Harmony Natural Healing. I don't have a website. They could also text or call my cell. Did you want me to offer that over? So it's
up to you.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's 306-861-1807. They can email Pure Harmony. They can just at Pure Harmony Natural Healing at hotmail.com. Or they can just go on Facebook. And if they're finding trouble with that, they can just go to my personal Facebook page, Deanne Garven, and contact me through that, either through Messenger or however they would like to.
Awesome. I always tell people just Google my name, and I show up all over Google. So
it's there you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But that's awesome. So so if there's anything, any last words, any advice that you would like to give the viewers on anything that we talked about today?
Well, we mentioned the times that's going on today, and I just really want to encourage people how important our energy and frequency vibration is, and just remind them that it's really, really, really important to try and stay positive, to try and not let this weird world we're living in right now promote any feelings of fear, although it's normal if it does. Just try and find something beautiful in your day. to lift your vibration up, because that's the most important thing at this point right now. All those negative feelings that we experience, they all have a lower frequency, and it's so important to try and keep our frequency up higher, and think more positive, and just believe and trust that everything will be okay. You know, everything will work out. I
I
like to
love that.
tell myself that, you know, I like to tell myself I'm pure positive energy and all is well. And just try and really feel it too, because that's where the frequency, that's where the vibration sets in.
That's so amazing. I just love that. Yes, definitely keep that vibration high. It keeps our immunity system high too. When we keep our vibration high, our immune
Exactly.
system stays high. So
That's
it's
right.
really important. Yeah, exactly. It's really important, people, that you need to take care of yourself. And yeah, it's been such a pleasure, Deanne, for having you here today. I'm so excited for, sending people your way and
Thank you so
working
much.
with you. Oh, you're welcome. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And everyone, take care. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Maureen.
You're
Bless you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Bless you too. See you.
Bye-bye.